The benefit of being an old football fan, I can't believe I'm calling myself old these days, is that you know a lot of stories, and there's a lot of stories that you just don't read them off Wikipedia, but you would have lived them and everything. And there's a story in the English Premier League that I would never forget involving a Ghanaian player. This was a player who was playing a football match. A fan escapes from the stands, gets onto the pitch, confronts this player, and in a symbolic gesture, is asking the player to swap shirts with him. That player was then one of Ghana's biggest names. He was a giant central defensive midfielder. He was a mainstay of the Black Stars. But that particular incident battered him for life. Yeah, he was never the same again, both in Everton and even when he moved on. The player in question is Nyarko. He had earned a £4.5 million move in 2001 from RC Lens, Racing Club Lens in France, to the English Premier League. He was considered one of the big rising stars of the game, and he was considered one of Africa's best midfielders at the time. And what the fan did was unbearable for Nyarko. Because he had arrived with such a reputation, there was a lot of expectation on him. He brought promise, but also the expectation was huge. But the Premier League was unforgiving to him. His form was inconsistent. I think there was an element of culture shock, and then the pressure from fans began to mount. And that particular incident in the game against Arsenal was a sign of that. The game was at Highbury. Everton were being outclassed, and the fan basically accused Nyarko in the 74th minute of not trying enough. Basically that he was not good enough. I think everybody was shocked. Nyarko himself looked confused. He froze. He looked humiliated, and minutes later he was substituted. And there were suggestions that he told the manager at the time, Walter Smith, that he even didn't want to play football again. That's how bad it was. He had a lot of support afterwards. There were Arsene Wenger suggesting that that should never happen to a footballer, his manager standing by him and defending his efforts. But after that, Nyarko was never the same again. He went on to play post the Everton period for AS Monaco. He also played for Paris Saint-Germain, and then it was only until 2004 that Everton released him. He later went back to Switzerland and Norway, where he played for a while, but he never reached that height again. So when you think of criticizing a player, demanding a bit more from him, please be acutely aware that it can sometimes undermine them forever. And the Nyarko example is the best of that. I don't know where Nyarko is these days. He's drifted away completely from the public limelight. He was never one for the limelight. But I also feel that incident had everything to do with the way he's completely gone off radar in the public sense.